we've got two partnerships. I'll talk to both. So just a point to make on the data analytics side. There seems to be a lot of focus on what's happening in the data, being able to process volumes of data at speed, your own internal data, and understand what's going on. And that's your macro and micro segmentation models come in as well. However, more and more, particularly given how things are changing very quickly, your internal data is going to tell you what's happening. It's not going to tell you why it's happening. So that's why you need to have the research component as well to be able to qualify what's going on in your data. And within that, we can't have these long timelines anymore in terms of waiting to get answers because the data is moving very quickly. So they actually need to be running in parallel and they need to work synergistically. So from a partnership point of view, we partner with WNS on the data analytics side. And just to talk to that, it's been quite a long journey. We've been engaged for just over a year now. We're going on 2 years. And I think the important thing to note is we've got a hybrid model. So it's a managed service agreement whereby it's a set team of analysts on their side who work very closely with the analysts in our business. And what I've found throughout many different corporates that I've worked at within my career, it never helps just to think you can bring a partner in, give them a broad brief with a very short scope and a very short time frame and think they're going to be able to deliver these wonderful insights into your business. It never works. So a hybrid model where you work with a very similar set of individuals that learn your business, learn the context, and are able to work with your internal analysts so that they can also provide additional context behind the data so that the two teams actually learn from each other. That proves to be one of the most beneficial arrangements. And we're getting to that stage now from a maturity point of view, where the guys really do understand some of the challenges within our back-end data and are able to get to decisions and insights very quickly. On the other side of things, we then, as soon as we start seeing things happening in our internal data, we've got various different research tools that we use to understand why are we observing things that we're observing. So for example, as COVID hit, and one would say this is quite logical, a lot of customers weren't going to the big shopping malls anymore. So those stores were finding their volumes were way down. When you looked at it from a customer point of view, certain groups of customers were still going to the malls because they wanted big one-stop shop versus other groups of customers, their main driver was as close to home as possible. And therefore, they would switch to retailers which had a better footprint in their area. So you use a combination of the data to understand which customers are the ones that are not coming into your bigger stores, and you then use your research to understand from a driver point of view, why aren't they coming in? And it helps in terms of your messaging to those customers, where you're going to drive them and understanding the context that they're in. So we work with partners on both sides, and we prefer longer term partnerships so that you actually understand the business and you actually have equity in that partnership. It's not a short term, every time you go out with a brief to get a new scope of work coming in, because you actually start from the ground every time. You go and bring someone new on board who needs to understand your data.